What is happening, everybody? Welcome to a quick little rundown of Millia Rage as she appears in the new Guilty Gear Strive beta test. There's bound to be some things that change between now and release time, and obviously in the first couple weeks, games get patched and updated and whatnot. So I don't want to spend all day talking about little nuts and bolts and details because they could change. I just want to talk about the character in general, because she's going to be completely different from her previous iterations, as a lot of characters are in this game. So they're similar concepts, just a slightly different way to go about them. So I just want to talk briefly about basic tenets of a character and kind of stuff that you can learn to just have in your back pocket when it comes down to really getting into the game when it comes out. So the first thing I want to discuss are command normals. Very important in the game because they're what's unique about some of your character's attacks beyond the basic system. You can see there's 3, 6P, 6K, and 6H. I'm going to use the Japanese numerical notation for everything for this game because it's going to be the most common. I'll see if I can find a video that explains that and put it in the link in the description for you in case you're not familiar with all of that. Needless to say, 5 is neutral, 2 is crouching, and 6 is holding forward. Look at the keypad on your computer, and that's pretty much the solution to it. Eventually you'll get used to it. But needless to say, these command normals are all done by pressing forward and their respective buttons. So forward and punch is 6P, forward and kick is 6K, forward and H, heavy slash is 6H. So these have some interesting properties, and you definitely want to get used to what they do because they're a very unique facet of the character. First up is 6P. This little horizontal flower bud is a good anti-air tool because she gains upper body invincibility during this. It actually works pretty well as an anti-air because she can't get hit, and this move can get cancelled into special attacks. Whether or not things combo when you cancel them depends on hit stun and a lot of other situations, but this move can cancel directly into things as needed. 6P is one of the faster ones that she has, so this can combo out of pretty much any normal button like that. This is 5P, 6P, for example. 6K, much slower as you can see. This move is an overhead, meaning they have to block it standing up, and when they do block it, this is plus, which means Millia still has the advantage to continue her attack. So that's really, really good. But the drawback is it is so slow, this does not combo out of any other moves. You can do it out of punch, as you can see, but it's not going to connect. So you don't really do this out of block strings necessarily. This is mostly a wake-up tool. When you have them, knocked down, and you use this to wake up with an overhead versus low mix-up, for example. So this doesn't combo out of any normals, whereas 6P does. 6H, this little 2-hit number, is kind of interesting because the first hit, Millia is airborne, the second hit, she's on the ground. This is also special cancelable like 6P, but if you're in the air and you can cancel into aerial attacks like Bad Moon. Or if you cancel the second hit on the ground, you can cancel the Iron Savior. Both hits are cancelable, but it depends on which one you actually cancel into a special, whether you're airborne on the ground or not. So that's kind of interesting because you can take advantage of that in a lot of situations. If you need something airborne, you can do that and stay over the ground. But if you want to get the most damage out of it, you can let both hits rock and do what you need from there. This move you can do out of other normals, but it's too slow. It only is going to combo out of your close S. Your standing S attack will combo into 6H, but that's it. Nothing else will. So those command normals, as we call them, are unique property basic attacks. The actual basic attacks of your character, K, P, S, and H, follow a single set of rules for almost every character in this game. They really redefined the system so that there are a universal way to combo these things together. So for the most part, any normal attack you can cancel into a command normal. So P into 6P, for example, or K into 6H. Just depends on whether or not they combo is based on hit stun and other factors, like I said. But you can do it. Any normal buttons will transition into one of your command normals. The only other rule to take a look at would be what buttons combo with each other. And for the most part, that is pretty universal in this game, like I said. The P attacks, whether it's standing, 5P, or crouching, 2P. These moves can all link into themselves. You can see I can do 3 punches right in a row. I can't do punch into S, for example. They don't work. That's gone out of the game. Punch only connects into other punches or command normals. Kick only connects into dust attacks or command normals. In certain cases, they're different. Millia, as you can see, her kicks will connect into themselves, just like punches do. Not every character has this. But every character does have kick into dust, which is pretty useful. Dusts are a nice way to get that hard mix-up and a good knockdown from it. So kicks can go into those. So that right away tells you if you have a kick attack like this, you can throw that out, and as soon as you get it, boom, there's your dust. Get your knockdown, your setup, whatever it is from there. So kicks are very good in that regard because it's a fast move that can put you into any kind of knockdown situation like that. Your close range S attack. This one can cancel into D attacks as well. You can do 2D for the knockdown here. You can also cancel it into H attacks or command normals. So close range S is pretty important because it can do all of those. It can go into the next heavier button, it can do your dust attacks, and you can still do command normals from it. However, your far range slash cannot. This can only go into H. That's it. Your far range slash can either do 5H or 2H, and that's it. No other options there. Same with your crouching S. You only get H attacks, nothing else. And then H attacks themselves don't link into anything. So I know that's a long roundabout way to go. Hopefully the little graphic there makes that a little bit simpler. Basically, each button only links into one thing. Punches go into itself, kicks go into dust, close range S goes into dust, and H, all your other S's go into H. And that's it. And pretty much all of them go into command normals, but again, combos are different. So you need to learn how those work, because that's the way you're going to confirm a hit into further combo damage. You don't want to just throw stuff out all the day. You don't want to do that all day and get it blocked and punished, for example. But the fact that she can do this, you can confirm that. You can see, okay, my kick just landed, I'll do another one in dust, you have time. So you need to learn how these work. You're going to use punch very rarely, in my opinion. You're more or less going to go for this 2K because it's a low. But you can do other options once you know what you have. You can fish out for 5K and then go for that as well. When you need mix-ups, it's basically going to be 2K versus the overhead 6K. That's going to be one of your primary ones. So you need to learn stuff like that. And otherwise, for just like block strength pressure, when you run up to an opponent, you want to do your close range S because it's the most versatile. It can go into several other options for you. So when it comes down to actually playing the game, knowing which buttons to go into which without just like frantic mashing can be very important. In the old game, you kind of used to be able to just go from one to the other. Kick, punch, S, H, whatever, and then all combo. They don't work like that. So you do need to kind of learn these. Some unique things that Millia has, like I said, her kicks will chain into themselves, which is unique. Not every character can do that. She can do 3 kicks in a row, or she can go into a low kick, and then all of these can go into 2D, for example, down in dust for that hard knockdown. That's pretty useful. If you can do that and other characters can't, that's kind of nice. Some other things worth noting, are her close range S is jump cancelable, as is 5K. You can hit your opponent with these, and then Millia can jump immediately out of it. Not every move can do this. You see, if I do an H and try to jump, nothing. Only close range S and 5K can jump cancel. So that's also useful too. You're going to use that in combos a lot. You're going to need to know those properties because this is a character that's got great air mobility, and her moving around the screen and crossing you up is paramount. But knowing what you can jump cancel is very important. As far as being in the air, Millia's jumping H is an excellent attack because this has the best crossover properties. You can hit him in the front. It's also very good at hitting him in the rear. Like that. You get a cross up, knockdown, setup, everything, you're gold. So jump H is going to be one of your primary like jump at them attacks. Jumping D is very good in the air to fight another airborne opponent. For air-to-air stuff, jump D is good because of the properties it gets and your ability to dash, cancel stuff, etc., etc. The advanced part of the game. So those are the normal attacks as the character works. A basic system for everybody, and then some unique command normals that kind of fit it all together. If you're noticing this is a lot like King of Fighters, you are correct. Your basic buttons can all go into your advanced buttons, and then only specific sequences work. That's all you have to learn. You don't have to know 35 Gatling combos like you used to. You only have this one into Dust, or you have, you know, this one into Heavy. That's it. So normal hit, those all link as we described, and not everything combos. But on counter hit can change that up a little bit. Counter hit, you can do some interesting things. Like, for example, your close range S will link into a 5K if this first one was a counter hit. I don't want to go into a ton of that because, like I said, this could change drastically. There's a lot of things that could be very powerful off the counter hit properties that some moves exhibit. So there's not too much value with talking about it now because it could change. But the one that is most noteworthy is 2H. I'll turn it on for now so you can see that on counter hit, Millia gets a combo from this. This launches them into the air. Normal counter hit where it says yellow up in the corner is no big deal. But now the close H, you can see he says counter, and that slows down. A little bit more hit stuff. And you can see how my kick links now. So you get more stuff off of counter hits. But again, it's a little trivial right now. What you really want to look at is this 2H, because that launches them into the air. That's super important because that's the only way she can do that. This character used to just launch you in the air, jump combo, Oki setup. Combo, Oki setup all day. That's all she used to do. But now the only way she can do this is off that counter hit. You really need to use that, right? That's going to be a good opportunity to get a meterless combo, to not have to spend meter to combo them up in the air. So that's the biggest counter hit worth looking at, in my opinion. Otherwise, without it, anytime you connect something, you need to spend meter. You need a Ronin cancel to pop them up in the air. So that's a whole nother ball game. When it comes to combos, there's so much to this game, but starting combos can be the tricky part. And so for this character, 2H is going to be one of the good ones because she can do it without spending resources. So I want to take a quick look at some combo starters. And again, because things change, I don't want to go into nuts and bolts too heavily because they might decide, oh, this is too much or we need more here. So let's just look at some basic options to start combos. And as I mentioned, counter hit 2H is one of the best ones because it does it for free, basically. You hit him with this counter hit, you can do your close S and then combo from there. Because it knocks him in the air, you have time to dash up, close S, etc. So that's free. If you catch them on a counter hit, that's a free air juggle combo for you, which is pretty paramount from what I can tell now because everything else does cost meter. So counter hit 2H is very important. Otherwise, you do have to spend meter, which means canceling off of some other type of hit. Previously, Millia used to do like 5S 2H, and that would launch you in the air combo, etc. So all she would need to do is just land one hit, Roman cancel, and then 5S 2H, and then combo you from there. So given that she can't just do that at will, she has to find another way. So your Roman cancel actually does this all on its own. If you notice, like say I do 6H, right? They just stand on the ground. Nothing fancy happens there. They're standing on the ground. But when I do this and I Roman cancel, the impact, the burst wave that she shoots out actually makes contact. That pops them up in the air, slows down time, and puts them in the air. Long enough for me to dash up and do close S. So that's how you get airborne combos, is Roman canceling. Because anytime it's in range, it'll pop them in the air. Now sometimes, it's based on the angle and stuff, it can pop them away instead of straight up. It really depends on character and situations. But for the most part, what you're going to look for with Millia is other connects. If you land them with this the close range S, then you do into this, then your Roman cancel. There's how you get a combo. But look at all that. That was a nice chunk of damage right there. That's the only way to do it, though. Without that meter, you can't really combo otherwise. So your close range S, which is one of your most versatile moves, is a good one to do it, because you can go into that with it. Your crouching S works well too, but you have like limited stuff to hit. Anything that anytime you hit them, you can basically Roman cancel and get this combo because it launches them. So you can do punch, stuff like that. That works too. You just get minimal damage out of it. You want to be able to do this whole thing, for example, and then start your combo if possible. But it's not always possible to hit them with a close range S. Maybe sometimes all you can hit them with is this little 2K. So you can also do Dust and then cancel that. Whoops. Same thing. Your knockdown 2D can have the same property. Boom, Roman cancel, pop into the air. So those are the two most important ones in my opinion. Your fastest one, which is 2K 2D, and then your big damage one, which is close S 6H. Those are the primary ways to start your combo, and then your counter hit 2H. Other than that, most of your combos are going to come from knocking them on the ground and setting them up with the ring, and then the ring will bounce them in the air if they get caught blocking incorrectly. That's your goal there. Is if when the ring is around them, you make them block overhead or low or whatever it is. If they get caught, the ring pops them up in the air, and then you boom, dash up for close range S. So combo paths are going to be just innumerable, especially for a character with air mobility like this. I just want to talk about a couple here briefly to get you started with. I'm going to leave counter hit on just because counter hit 2H is the easiest way to get these started without having to reset all the time. So one of the first basic combo things you can do is far from basic, let's say that. Your close range S is a great move to pop them up in the air because you can do that and then jump cancel. So that's what you're going to do whenever you catch the airborne opponent. Close range S like that. You sometimes have to dash, but that's what you want to do. Close range S. So once you jump immediately thereafter, the simple combo I want to talk about first is a jumping D, and then you do air dash by pressing forward, and then a jumping K. Like that. It looks quick, but that's kind of all it is. Once you jump, you press D dash K. You know, jump D dash K. That's kind of all it is. It's like a rhythm thing. So what you do from there, though, the reason why that's interesting is the air dash K puts you on the ground at such an angle that you can land and hit him again with another S attack. See that? Because the corner there was a close range S attack. But that's kind of an interesting looping mechanism that you have. See? Close range S hits him on the ground, and I can jump and do it all again. So you can actually do this as many times as you need to, because you're going to hit the wall eventually. You can loop this over and over again. There's another more difficult way to do this that involves instant air dash K, which is very hard to do. It's going to take a while to learn how to do that stuff, and I don't want to cover that here. There's another video that I'll link in the description that can show you how this combo works a little bit better. But instead of just doing a D and then air dashing to K, once you do this, once you do the close range thing, you just air dash K and then land and do it over again. So it's one of these, air dash K, loop, 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 loop. That's kind of complicated, and again, I'll show you that video. This could all very well change. They might decide to change the timing of some of her stuff because this is too good. We don't know yet. So this is there for a basic primer. Here's what she can probably do. The last one I want to talk about is using all of your tools. In the air, you have air dashes and double jumps and stuff like that. Millia is one of the characters that has two. Generally, you only characters had one. Once you jumped, you could either jump again, or you could jump and air dash. Millia can do two of those at her choice. She can jump and then do two air dashes, or she can jump, and air dash. Not everyone can do this. So this makes, one, Millia very, very mobile in the air, and two, lets her extend the crap out of some airborne combos. So one of the things you can do is use all three of them in between. You saw that first combo was a jumping D, a dash into K. We're going to kind of just extend that. So what we're going to do is just jump KD, dash, jump KD, dash, jump KD. And the wall happened to get in the way. But you can see the concept there. If you start from the other corner, you can get two of these air dashes in. You do have to learn how to adjust your angle in the air. Sometimes these aren't always like as simple as you want, right? Your distance can sometimes vary to your opponent. You have to kind of get used to a rhythm, and then you got to get used to the distance of the wall. So for the most part, you can jump, do a KD, and then you could jump again, or you could air dash, hit him with another KD, and then air dash, hit him with another KD, and then while you're in the air, you can still do bad move. So the last iteration of that, you probably want to drop the K and just do a jumping D into bad move. You got a lot of choices there. Like that, bad move, back to the ground, chunk of damage. So those are the basic combos I want to talk about. That's good enough for now, right? A simple jump combo, and then a loop, a re-jump loop, which can be kind of tricky. The last thing to take a look at would be some corner combos. Since this new wall break system is in place, I don't know exactly all the rules to it. There's a certain number of hits before it breaks. Once they hit the wall, you'll see little cracks appear. Like there's a crack. There's that symbol behind them. There's a crack in the wall. But after a certain number of hits, the opponent will stick to the wall, and then you can kick them through the wall if you so choose. So there are rules to this, and I just want to show you how you can keep them in the air up to a certain number of hits and then kick them through the wall. So the first one starts with our good old counter hit 2H. Obviously you don't have room to do triple jump combos in here, you're going to hit the wall. So you can just kind of stick to heavier attacks and push them into the wall over and over again. So that could look like this. And broke through the wall with 189 damage. I'm doing a 2H, which pops him in the air, and then I dash in a little bit. Then do close S, 6H into Iron Savior, and then 2H to resplat. And once an Iron Savior hits this close to the wall, you can get a follow-up off of it, which you normally can't do. 2H is going to be one of the better damage options for doing this stuff, so you're going to see it a couple of times. Oops. And then 2H breaks it again. 199, I must have missed something last time. And the damage scaling, I don't know exactly how that's going to work. If you want to try to avoid the wall hits, if they take less once they're stuck to it, I don't know the details of that. But needless to say, something like that can be pretty easy. And all I'm doing is just my 2H launcher, and I'm doing the main combo you saw on the ground. When I talked about one of your launchers, which was close range S into 6H, I'm just doing that. And I'm doing that into Iron Savior. Whoops, let me reset. And one more hit off Iron Savior, and they're stuck to the wall, and then you break the wall. So there's a couple ways to do this. You could try to reduce the number of hits and see what the damage does. Or, again, because this is on a counter hit, it's already knocked them into the air. That can kind of affect things too, and the counter hit damage is also pretty good on that first hit. Let me turn counter hit back off and just do it off a normal string like we talked about. Like say you land the close range S here. You could do this and then a 2H into the Iron Savior again. And then loop it. And then another 2H to break the wall. 181 damage. So without even needing a counter hit, you can get pretty much almost the same damage. These rules might change when they decide damage is really high. They might want to ease up on the wall break stuff a little bit. It's hard to say. But that's the same principle. Rather than continuing to jump into the air and extend your combo, you can kind of keep them close, pinned to the corner. Things like the fact that Iron Savior gets a follow-up. They're not hitting the wall in some cases, but they're close enough that your recovery is right in front of them instead of being 20 feet away. So all those could really change a lot. I just want to show you a brief glimpse of what you could do. So I kind of think that's it. That's the basic tenets of the character. The first thing you learn is that this is a very mobile character. She's up and down, she's over the place, she's crossing up, she's throwing traps, doing whatever it might be. All she has to do is look for one of these things to hit, and then launch you into the air, and then it's on. So if you can keep her out of your hair, that's really good. A character like Axel, throwing chains everywhere, it can be really hard for her to approach. She might just dash right face first into attack and regret it. Well, that's why she has 2 jumps in the dash and all that stuff. She has Capel to change her trajectory in the air, and she has Bad Moon to drop down on. So she's got a really powerful air game. This character is all over the screen in the air, but she's working hard to do that, right? She's not just gorillaing her way to victory. She really has to carefully get in, and then once she's in, hit you with certain things that are kind of technical. Her combos can be a little bit difficult, and then she has to go for Oki resets instead of just mashing you to death. So that's the name of the game, is being mobile, getting in and out, and then once you catch them, you don't ever let them go. You want to end a combo on the ground, and then you want to throw another tandem top on top of it and do it again. You want to go for as many reset opportunities as you can, because that damage will add up. You're not going to get it all at once, but a couple resets, and that'll do the trick. Other than that, it's just a name of knowing what you can get from your limited options. If you don't have meter, your options are limited, so you just go for, knockdown setups like that. If you do have meter, you roam and cancel and you do big combos, and then go for knockdown setups afterward. So I think you'll find that the playstyle is pretty similar to Millia of old. It's just a very different approach to using her toolkit to do it. The stripped down fundamental system of normal attacks, and the fact that she can't just 5S2H and launch you all day, she has to get certain situations to launch you, really changes it. But in a high damage game, you don't need 5 different ways to launch. The fact that she only has like a couple means she has to work to get those things rather than just comboing you off of anything. You have to be a little bit more selective. So hopefully that helps a little bit of basic learning about this character, and I do mean basic. I'm far from an expert at this game in general, let alone the character, to talk about crazy mix-up situations and resets and option selects. Needless to say, the character has that stuff, but for now, I just wanted to go over the tools you have so you can get used to playing her with these tools, and then, oh, what if I try this, and if I do that, and you'll figure stuff out yourself. You'll eventually learn, oh, I could do this, and I know they're going to block low every time, go for it. Stuff like that you have to build through experience or other videos on Twitter. And most of that we'll save for another day once the game is actually out. At this point, we only have 2 days of beta time left, so hopefully that's enough to get you started with that. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later.